You just finished eating, but you're already thinking about the next meal. You just watched a video, but you're already scrolling to the next one. You achieved something you wanted for months, a promotion, a goal, a person, and you were happy for 2 days. 2 days. Then the emptiness came back, the restlessness came back. That feeling that something is missing, but you can't name what. This isn't weakness, it isn't ingratitude, it isn't a lack of purpose. It's dopamine, and it was never made to make you happy. Most people believe dopamine is the pleasure hormone, that when you feel good, it's dopamine, that when you enjoy something, it's dopamine. This idea is so deeply embedded in popular culture that it became fact. Except, it's wrong. And that wrong belief is exactly why you keep chasing things that don't satisfy you, building habits you can't quit, and feeling empty after every achievement. This video won't give you a list of tips to boost your dopamine. It won't sell you the idea that you need more motivation, more discipline, more willpower. What this video will give you is something rarer. The truth about how this system works inside you, why it was hijacked by the modern world, and the exact protocol to take back control of it. But here's the meta challenge of this video. Every time you feel the urge to skip ahead, to check another tab, to pick up your phone while watching, notice that. Don't judge it. Just notice it. Because that impulse that'll appear while you watch is exactly what we're talking about. Dopamine in action, live inside you right now. If you stay until the end, you won't only understand the mechanism, you'll recognize it operating in real time in your own life. And that changes everything. Let's start from the beginning.
This is it.
Not the beginning you know, but the real beginning.
Connects everything.
Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical molecule your brain produces that carries signals between neurons. It's existed for millions of years, long before smartphones, long before refined sugar, long before pornography, YouTube, or food delivery. It was built by evolution to do one specific thing: make you seek. Not make you feel pleasure, make you seek. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge from the University of Michigan spent decades studying exactly this. In experiments that became a cornerstone of modern neuroscience, Berridge discovered something that turned popular science upside down. The brain systems responsible for wanting and for liking are distinct and separate. Dopamine governs the wanting, the anticipation, the pursuit, the impulse to go after something. The actual sensation of pleasure, the genuine liking, is mediated by other systems, primarily endogenous opioids, your brain's natural painkillers. Translated into real life, you can intensely want something that'll give you no pleasure whatsoever when you get it. You know this. You feel this. You spend 40 minutes scrolling a feed without being able to stop, even though you're not enjoying anything you see. You eat the third slice of pizza not because it tastes good, but because something keeps pushing you. You open Instagram for the 10th time in the same day with no conscious reason. That's not pleasure. That's your dopamine system in seeking mode, heated, activated, demanding more stimulus without ever reaching a satisfying conclusion. And it was trained this way, for years, by an environment built specifically to exploit this mechanism. Think of the Instagram or TikTok feed as a digital slot machine. This isn't a metaphor, it's deliberate behavioral engineering. Variable ratio reinforcement, a concept studied by psychologist B.F. Skinner in the 1950s, is the most addictive reward pattern that exists. It's not receiving a reward every time. It's not never receiving one. It's receiving one sometimes, unpredictably. A boring post, another boring one. A video that grabs you for 3 minutes, 2 boring ones again. A photo that moves you. The brain can't predict when the reward is coming, so it never stops seeking. The engineers at major platforms know this. Recommendation systems were built on top of this psychology. Not to inform you, not to meaningfully entertain you, to keep your dopamine system activated in seeking mode indefinitely. And the result of that, after years of exposure, is a brain that literally can't tolerate the absence of stimulation anymore. A brain that interprets silence as a threat, that interprets boredom as pain, that confuses restlessness with a real need. You didn't become weak, you were trained. There's an enormous difference between those two things, and understanding that difference is the first step toward changing direction. This video won't tell you to put down your phone, meditate for 2 hours a day, or go on a silent retreat in the mountains. That advice exists by the thousands, and most people who read it do exactly nothing with it. Not out of laziness, but because it doesn't attack the problem at the root. What this video will deliver is a protocol built on top of how your dopamine system actually works. Based on the work of Kent Berridge, of Anna Lembke, Stanford psychiatrist and author of Dopamine Nation, and on decades of research into behavioral rehabilitation. This isn't theory, it's sequence, it's order, it's what actually changes the pattern when applied with consistency. But to apply any protocol, you first need to change the ground where it'll grow, and that ground is your environment. Most men try to solve behavioral problems with decision, with intention, with promises made to themselves at 11 p.m. on a Monday night. Starting tomorrow, I'll stop. Starting next week, I'll change. And the next morning, the environment is exactly the same. The phone on the nightstand, the app opening at the first second of boredom, the trigger in the same place waiting for the same reflex. Decision never beats design. Never. Not because you're weak, but because the human brain was built to conserve cognitive energy. Behavior that can run on autopilot will run on autopilot, and the environment determines which autopilot gets activated. Anna Lembke documents this precisely in Dopamine Nation. The first step to recalibrating the reward system isn't mental, it's physical. It's removing the stimulus from your field of vision before trying to resist it. So it starts here, not tomorrow. It starts with what's around you right now. The phone leaves the bedroom, completely, not face down on the table, not in airplane mode on the nightstand, out of the bedroom, charging in the living room, in the kitchen, anywhere that isn't the first object your eyes touch when you wake up and the last when you fall asleep. Buy a cheap alarm clock. This isn't symbolism. It's the first line of defense. The logic is simple and brutally true. The phone in the morning, before anything else, puts your brain in reactive mode before you've said a single word to yourself. One notification, one message, one headline. Within 90 seconds, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning, intention, and your capacity to decide who you want to be that day, is already being pulled in 6 different directions. You didn't start your day. You reacted to someone else's day. The morning that begins in silence is neurologically different. Not spiritually, neurologically. The prefrontal cortex wakes slowly, plastically open, available for whatever you choose to place in it. This state lasts between 30 minutes and 2 hours, depending on the person. It's the most valuable period of your day, and you're probably burning it on a feed. The second step is what Anna Lembke calls the dopamine fast. Not the Instagram version of the term, not a day without technology, so you can post about it afterward. The real fast, a 30-day period where you remove every source of high-intensity stimulation that isn't essential for your life to function. Social media, pornography, gaming, binge-watching, compulsive news, impulse online shopping, not permanently. 30 days. You'll resist this. You'll find it extreme. You'll list every reason why it's not viable for you specifically. And I need to say something about that resistance. It's the symptom, not the proof that the fast is impossible. The more intense your reaction to hearing this, the more necessary it is. This isn't judgment. It's physiology. A brain dependent on a pattern of stimulation will protest when that pattern is interrupted. Exactly the way a muscle that's never been stretched will protest on the first stretch. During those 30 days, you don't just remove, you replace with intention. A physical book on the nightstand, a walk without earphones twice a week, one meal a day eaten without a screen. These aren't romantic suggestions. They're controlled exposures to the one thing your dopamine system most avoids, the absence of immediate stimulation. And in that absence, something begins to move. Slowly, but it moves. After the environment changes, comes the central practice. And it's simple enough to seem insufficient. It's not. Choose an activity that requires real effort and has a slow reward. It doesn't matter which one. It could be reading a dense book, a musical instrument, a professional project you've been putting off, serious weight training with tracked progression. The criterion isn't the activity itself. It's that it demands sustained effort from you, delivers no immediate gratification, and produces results over weeks or months, not seconds. That's the practice, deliberately choosing the slow path. Here's the exact protocol. Week 1, 25 minutes per day, one single block. No interruption, phone in another room. No music, no podcast, no second screen. Just you and the activity. Timer on. Begin. Somewhere between minute 3 and minute 8, something will happen. A restlessness will arise, not from outside, from inside. A nameless tension, an urge to check something, to switch activities, to do anything other than stay there. The thought will appear with an urgency that doesn't match the situation. I need to reply to that message. I need to watch that video. I need to do something else right now. That's the moment. That's the only moment that matters in the entire exercise. Don't negotiate. Don't stand up. Don't check. Stay. Not heroically. Not dramatically. Just stay. Return to the activity as quietly as possible, the way you gently redirect a child who wandered off. The task is still there. Come back to it. What's happening in that moment isn't weakness. It's your dopamine system protesting against the absence of high-intensity stimulation. It's the same mechanism that makes any withdrawal uncomfortable in the first days. It's not a crisis. It's a signal that the training is working. Week 2. 2 blocks of 25 minutes with a 10-minute break between them. The break is real. Stand up, look out a window, drink water. No phone during the break. Week 3. Blocks of 35 minutes. The progression isn't arbitrary. It mirrors the logic of progressive overload that any athlete understands. You don't start by lifting maximum weight. You increase gradually, giving the muscle time to adapt. The prefrontal cortex operates on the same logic. Pushing too hard too soon breaks the pattern before it can consolidate. Week 4, 90 minutes of deep work per day, split however you choose. 2 blocks of 45, 3 of 30, 1 block of 90, if you feel ready for it. What you'll notice at the end of the first month isn't dramatic. It isn't a revelation. It's subtler than that. It's that 25 minutes begins to feel short. It's that the early restlessness arrives later and passes faster. It's that you finish a block and feel something that isn't euphoria, but is real. A solidity. A sense of having done something that mattered. That's the liking system being reactivated. Dopamine finding real rewards. Slow ones. Built ones. And because of that, lasting ones. But here's what most guides won't tell you. The enemy isn't inside the practice. It's outside it. You finish the 25 minutes. You close the laptop. You stand up from the chair. And within 60 seconds, the phone is already in your hand. It wasn't a conscious decision. It happened the way breathing happens. The way blinking happens. The reflex was already installed before any thought had formed. And if you don't work on what happens between the practices, everything you built inside them will be slowly dissolved by the environment that didn't change. The problem isn't just that you get distracted during work. It's that your brain was trained to demand stimulation during every moment that isn't structured work. In the grocery line, phone. In the elevator, phone. In the 3 minutes before a meeting starts, phone. In the silence after dinner, phone. Every pocket of stillness, however small, gets filled immediately. And every time you fill it, the brain receives a very clear message. Silence isn't safe. Silence must be escaped. The technique for this is counterintuitive. Lemke calls it surfing the urge. Instead of trying to eliminate the craving or negotiating with it, or distracting it with something else, you do the opposite. You observe it. It works like this. The impulse appears, that tension in the chest, that hand already moving toward the pocket. You stop. You don't pick up the phone. You don't do anything. You simply observe the impulse as if it were a wave in the ocean. A wave has a beginning. It builds. It reaches its peak, and then it passes. The dopamine urge works identically. It rises, builds in intensity over the first 5 to 10 minutes, reaches its peak, which is genuinely uncomfortable, a formless anxiety, a physical restlessness that settles in the chest and shoulders. And then, if you don't act on it, it passes. Not gradually. It breaks, like a wave. And on the other side of that wave is something you probably haven't felt in a long time. A stillness. Not empty. Present. A quality of attention that's there, available, clean, waiting for something real to rest on. That's the state humans have used to create everything worth creating in this world. Music, philosophy, literature, business, real relationships. That state doesn't live in the feed. It lives in the space between stimuli. In the silence, you stop running from. If what you're hearing here resonates with something you've been feeling but couldn't name, subscribe to the channel. Not because you need more content, but because the next video will continue from where this one ends, and continuity matters as much as the beginning. Beyond the central practice and the work outside it, there are daily habits that rebuild the reward system as a byproduct of living differently. None of them require more than 30 minutes. One of them requires less than 5. Cold exposure. Every day, at the end of your shower, 2 minutes of cold water. This isn't punishment. It's discomfort tolerance training. The cold shock activates the sympathetic nervous system, acutely raises norepinephrine and dopamine, and more importantly, it teaches you in real time that you can remain in an uncomfortable situation without fleeing it. What you learn in the shower you carry into every difficult moment of the day. In the first week, 2 minutes will feel impossible. You'll want to step out every 20 seconds. Stay. Breathe. The discomfort isn't hurting you. It's training you. Screen-free meal. 1 meal per day, any meal, eaten without a phone, without a computer, without a TV. Just the food. It sounds small. It's not. The act of eating with full attention directly activates Berridge's liking system. You actually taste what you eat, instead of swallowing mechanically while your dopamine system is busy on another screen. In the first week, sitting in silence for 20 minutes will be difficult. You'll realize how much the screen was an escape from the present moment itself. Stay anyway. The silence isn't empty. It's the moment arriving to meet you. Problem walk. 3 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes of walking without earphones. Not as exercise, but as active meditation. Before you leave, choose one real question to carry with you on the walk. Not a worry, a specific question. How should I structure this project? What's actually holding me back in this relationship? What do I really want for the next 6 months? Walk with the question. When your mind wanders, and it will, especially in the first weeks, gently return to the question. Physical movement activates the brain's default mode network, responsible for integration, insight, and creative connection. You're not wasting time. You're thinking the way the brain was built to think. In the first week, 15 minutes will feel long. After 2 weeks, you'll extend it on your own. daily memorization. Choose a paragraph, 4 lines of a poem, a quote that means something to you. Read it slowly 3 times. Close the page. Try to recall it from memory. Return to the text. Correct what you missed. Try again. This isn't a memory exercise for intellectual vanity. It's direct training of the prefrontal cortex. Memorizing requires the brain to sustain attention on a single object long enough to encode it. Exactly the neural movement that years of distraction have eroded. 5 minutes per day. 4 lines in the first week, 8 in the second. A full stanza by the end of the month. Real rewards log. Every day before sleep, write on paper, not on your phone. One thing you built or experienced fully that day, not a major achievement. It could be that you finished a book, that a conversation was real, that you walked without earphones, that you stayed with the discomfort and it passed. The act of writing anchors the experience. The brain begins to register slow rewards as real rewards. It begins to recalibrate what counts as satisfaction. In the first week, it'll be hard to find something. That doesn't mean nothing happened. It means the system is still calibrated to not recognize rewards that don't come with a notification. At some point in this video, something happened inside you. Maybe you noticed it. Maybe you didn't, but the impulse appeared. That subtle tension that wanted you somewhere else, watching something else, doing anything other than staying here. And if you stayed, you already know at some level what this video has been pointing at. Not as concept, as experience. Dopamine isn't the villain. It was the engine that drove your ancestors to cross continents, build cities, create art. The problem isn't the system. It's what the modern world did with it. It took a mechanism that evolved to push you toward things that matter: food, connection, learning, achievement, and redirected it toward buttons, feeds, and notifications that deliver the stimulation without the substance. And the result of that, lived across years, is a man who seeks without arriving, who achieves without feeling, who accumulates without being present in what he accumulated. You know that man. Maybe you are that man. Not because of a character flaw, because of the design of an environment that was built to keep him moving without direction. What changes when you recalibrate the system isn't that you become more productive. That happens, but that's not the point. What changes is more fundamental. You finish a meal, and it was a full meal. You have a conversation, and you were actually in it, not composing your response while the other person was still speaking. You finish a project, and you genuinely feel, the weight of what you built. You look at your kid, a landscape, a simple moment, and realize you're actually there, not somewhere the algorithm decided you should be. That's the promise the hijacked dopamine system can never keep. That the next scroll will satisfy, that the next video will be enough, that the next purchase will fill the gap. It won't. It never will, because the system was trained to seek, not to arrive. And recalibration doesn't give you less desire. It gives you real desire. Directed, connected to things that, when you reach them, you actually feel. Life isn't in the next stimulus. It's in the moment you stop running from the present one. And that moment is here, right now, waiting for you to arrive.